Yo, let's get the business.
Let's get the business. I'll tell y'all what's going on here. Hey, thank everybody. I want to thank everyone for just subscribing with me, tapping in with me on this platform. It's been a beautiful one. Go check out all the previous episodes of Let's Get the Business. I have some wonderful content for you all. So thank you. But what's going on today is we have a nice real estate agent right here under the branch of Rowe & Co.
Yes.
Over under Rowe & Co. Realty, professional. So I'm going to start with this, okay? I'm going to get into a little bit about what she does, but first here comes the intro to this, okay? A major level of professionalism, whether it be photography, teaching, band directing, with the ability to play multiple different instruments. Spectacular kimchi cook, I must say. Yeah, good friend of mine. Multi-talented, intelligent, consistent grinder, workaholic, passionate at bettering situations for families, community driven. She's ready to help you purchase or buy that new home that's convenient for you and suitable today. Great layouts, professionally established with the right occupants and tenants. One example is the amazing home recently on the market. It was off Blenheim.
Mm-hmm.
Off Blenheim. I'm glad I pronounced that word correctly.
Blenheim. Listen, everybody. So every time they call me, they say that.
Blenheim. That's great.
I love hearing about me.
Right. That shall we continue. But yeah, the one off Blenheim, it was a nice 2-story with the finished basement and cozy setting. The preparation is marvelous. The display of the homes are phenomenal. She comes with the rollouts with the necessary details provided, countless hours of work put in, random phone calls that need immediate responses off the random, determination and resilience, versatile, informative, providing a healthy service for our Kentucky bluegrass community. She's customer first and a gateway towards a plethora of sustainable homes. A service to Lexington, Hardin County, and surrounding areas in the bluegrass. So contact her ASAP and close in on your dream home today. She'll be more than happy to assist you for your shelter needs. Serious inquiries only, of course. But
ladies and gentlemen,
Brittany Froedge. How's it going?
Oh, it's great. I'm glad to be here with you, Josh.
Are you? It's been a beautiful one. It's a nice evening. The temperature has been 70 something today.
I love fall. This is my favorite season. It's almost finally. You know what it almost is?
What's going on?
It's almost Scorpio season.
Eee.
That would be me.
Okay, talk heavy. We're gonna talk heavy early. But if you're looking for a home, she's the one that you need to contact. And some of her contacts is the website. Like I said, she works under the branch of Rowe & Co. Realty. So that's www.roweandcorealty.com. Email Brittany at roweandcorealty.com. Get your facts straight. Instagram, Brittany _ KY Realtor. Make sure you go and follow her. So let's get the business early.
All right, let's do it.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm ready.
You like that intro?
I know, man. I'm feeling on top of the moon. I don't even think I ever got that when I was a teacher.
I'm working on
years.
I'm working on
they're usually like, hey, here's this person that showed up to work and she worked with these children, and that's great. Round of applause.
Right. It's got to be clear and proper with me. We got to put the
Hey, I'm feeling it. I love it. I got it.
Nice.
All right.
So you graduated from the University of Kentucky. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Talk heavy. Wildcat country. So where did you grow up geographically? Just for starters.
Well, I actually grew up in Hardin County. My dad was in the military, and I was born in D.C. We moved overseas. He had his stations, and then he got stationed here and chose to retire here, which is why we stayed in Hardin County. And it's been great. Went to North Hardin High School, and then went to UK, and had a great time and earned a degree for teaching. But and then I taught for 11 years, and now we're here.
Taught for 11 years.
I did teach for 11 years. It was
Nice.
long years.
Nice. You ever miss teaching?
12 years a slave, 11 years as teacher, same movie. Just kidding. You know what? For real, I always love kids. Like teaching kids, like having fun with kids. There's something about like getting kids that come from, and where I taught at a school that had a high free or reduced lunch and percentage. And if you look at those kind of schools, that means that you've got a lot of kids that come from homes that are in need financially.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
I think working with those kids and trying to get them to see like, you know, this is your current story, but it doesn't have to be your full story. And the biggest thing is just trying to get them to believe in themselves and push themselves to the absolute limit. That was like the entire goal. And it's really fun, I think, and gratifying to see a lot of the students now who are like 25, 26, they're business majors, they're doing all these other things. They're like, you remember that time you told me like, go make that money and blah, blah, blah. Cause you know, they'd be like, I love my trumpet. I'm like, that's great. But I don't want you to be a professional trumpet player. I just wanted you to use it as an advantage on your college application. And now I want, yes. So they, you know, they're out there doing the great things. And I will say that is the most gratifying thing as a teacher to see them grow up and be their own adults and go out there and follow their dreams. So yes, in that sense, I do miss all of that. Now, past
that element of it is
that element is the best.
But watching them grow,
the kids are the best. And if you only can deal with kids, I would say yes, I would come back in a heartbeat. But there are so many things that
gotta love them, right?
Yeah, there's so many other things outside of the kids that I think it makes it hard to teach. And maybe I will go back, but I think it'll be hard for me because it's like an abusive relationship sometimes where you stay for the kids. Right. and
plus the lane you're in now, you're on the move and you're in the groove, right?
Well, I mean, it's that I've got my two little kids that I've been blessed to be able to stay with and hang out with and watch them grow and invest in them. And that's been a whole different vibe for me, I guess, for the last 3 years since I left in 2021. But I will say I still dabble. I still go in at schools and, you know, I drove to North Bullitt. I went to North Bullitt High School.
Plus they contact you. They love you. You run into
It's really, really funny. And they always like, I say the first line I always let them know is like, hey, I'm a little bit crazy, but here we go. Enjoy the ride.
So did you always have the vision of becoming a real estate agent at a younger age, or did it kind of gradually become?
No, it's not a gradual. It was okay. So listen, this is how this went down.
Okay.
I had a friend in Nashville who was, he was a band person too, but he got into real estate in Nashville and he became really big there. He's still big there. His name's Eric Workman and he was with Keller Williams and he'd always tease me at, you know, different kinds of band functions like, hey, I know you enjoy
Keller Williams.
Kids. He'd be like, I know you enjoy, you know, teaching the children, but you know, do you really want to do that the rest of your life and not get paid? Because you could get paid. And I was just like, get out of here, blah, blah, blah. So in 2019, I was just kind of sitting down thinking like, can I do something extra that kind of brings it in? Because I'm just going to tell you right now, people are always like, teachers make so much money. And in the end, if you really calculate how much they make, because the deduction of teacher retirement, that right off the bat, they take $600 out of your account.
Are unbelievable.
And they take all kinds of exactly. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's like a beginning teacher walks home with like $2,000 and I'm like, well,
undervalued teacher.
That's your rent. So he, you know, like was like, hey, well, just, you know, try it. Let's try it. So I took my test and I literally, I did my schooling online and I got it done in like a month and a half and I passed the test. And then from there, exactly. And from 2019 on, that's how I've just been hitting the pavement. And there was 1 year where I got my W-2 from Hardin County Schools.
Okay.
And then I got my 1099 as an independent contractor from selling real estate. And I actually called the office I was working in, which was Keller Williams at the time. And I was like, hey, did you mess up on this? Because, you know, like I wasn't really in the frame of mind of business. Right. So I wasn't even keeping track. I'd be like, oh, I just got paid from that.
So you need an EIN?
Yeah. Well, not that because I didn't start a business yet.
Not an EIN yet.
Right. I was just like a person who was working as a contractor.
Getting your feet wet.
So I got it back and it was more than my teaching salary, and I work really hard at teaching. Anybody that knows me as a colleague or a former parent,
I can tell you're passionate about it too.
But listen, them hours, I spent a lot of hours after school and before school and all kinds of stuff.
Different.
So I was just a little shook that my paycheck was a little bit different. But you know, at the end of the day, I was like, maybe that's what it is. It's like you work hard And if you work yourself to the bone, I mean, you should see something back from that. And I think it is hard. And some people, and that's okay. I'm not knocking people that stay in teaching, because honestly, it is, again, I say the kids are everything. It is everything. But there's also, a time where you have to put yourself and your family first. And
Absolutely.
And that's really what happened. So from then, that's when it happened in 2019, when I realized, and in 2020 when there was that discrepancy and COVID happened.
Ooh, they hit us like a ton of bricks, right?
So there was just like this realization, like, okay, well, I've got to start planning for me, planning for my family. And I think that's what I've really done. And from here on out, that's what, I'll have that vision, because you've always got to do that. Because when I'm 70, what's going to happen is that my kids and their kids, it's whatever I can pass down to them, I want to.
Absolutely. I love how you put the curveball on it, right? And I know during COVID, that was a challenging time for everyone. You kind of found out a lot about ourselves, and it gave us a chance to dive into our creativity, into our business and things of that nature. It was an interesting time. It still has affected us.
Yeah, it is.
Know what I mean?
Well, and it's affected everyone. Like, you just place value on your time and where you spend your time. Is this really worth it? Do I want to do this for the rest of my time? And I'll tell you, like, I do really enjoy real estate. During that year, like, I've got people that I worked with at the very beginning when COVID was going down. And I'll tell you right now, like, they are so happy that they purchased real estate during that time period, because they have gotten, due to inflation and different other factors, the value in their home and the equity in their home. They have over, some of them over $100,000 of equity just for time.
Beautiful. Woo! Time will tell. And things grow too,
Yeah. I have one perfect couple that purchased on that line where builders were scared. They were like, what's going to happen here? Like, are people going to keep purchasing? And it was it was around May.
Right.
In April, and people are like, our house is going to move? Is this going to be a big crash? What's going to happen here? We have these low interest rates, but nobody's moving. And so they were a little bit scared. And they got this home that was listed for $315,000, and they got it for $294 with all upgrades, countertops, appliances. And now, if they sold their house today, they purchased it at $294, but they most definitely could list it at $410.
Right.
And it's incredible.
Yeah. It's sprung. It's been a tigger for sure. So, as far as changing career fields, what are some adjustments that took you a little time to get comfortable with, or did you kind of?
I hit the ground running. With band directing, I had a lot. It's not just like, not that I'm, again, knocking anybody else's teaching like core subjects. It wasn't just like I was seeing people during the school day from 8 to 3, and that's all I dealt with you, and maybe an email from a parent.
You threw the extra work into
the extra work, the extra calls, sometimes in the meeting with people. And so, like, my phone being off the hook was not, like, uncommon. And so that was basically the transition. Like, real estate is a people business. Like, you dealing with people, can you help people? Are you genuine about people? Because I think that's important too. There's some people that are really disingenuous.
Absolutely. You can feel the genuine within people when they're trying to sell you something. They're trying to sell.
I have a set of buyers right now, and they're hilarious. I'm not going to say their names, but they know who they are. And they are hilarious because they say, we walk in a house and you literally tell us everything is wrong with it.
Here are all the flaws.
They're like, are you trying to sell us the house? And here's the point. It's like, I want them to buy a house, absolutely. But I want them to buy their house with eyes wide open. And there's some people that'll just show you and be like, oh my God, do you love this big kitchen? And they're not mentioning how if you open your dishwasher and your stove at the same time, it ain't cute. And I let them know, like, that ain't going to work. And there's other things like, hey, have you noticed you're so excited about all of this, but where is your food going to go? Where's your snack?
So you're considerate and informative, right?
No, maybe a little bit more than I should be. Literally.
Absolutely.
I
know this about you.
Yeah, a couple of times that we've had visitors, aka like my husband, or, like I actually think my stepdaughter went with me at one, and they were just looking at me. They were like, yo, you really just told them about this house, like everything they could. And I said, you have to. Like, literally, I leave no stone unturned.
Because people respect the honesty over the snakery, right?
Right.
That's always going to prevail in my eyes.
I just don't want them to be, now later. Now, listen, I'm not, and I do that as much as I can. And I always recommend that, hey, you need to have your place inspected or do what you want to do, and
Right.
you look it over, and you do what you are comfortable with. Do you want to move on from it? Do you not? And that's on them, like what they want to do.
But that's awesome though that you would be considerate like that. That says a lot about your character. That makes people want to shop with you even more.
Well, I think that's what my current clients really love about it. Like, there's a couple, and it's honestly, if you had a camera and you followed me during a showing, I think it'd be quite entertaining. TLC wouldn't know what to do with me.
You need that. You're too busy doing your own photography when you're not doing that.
Oh, that's true. That's just a little side hustle.
Oh yeah.
I love pictures, but really, it's more about I wanted to get really great at them, so I can take.
Hey, you took a classic picture of me.
Hey, listen,
threw it in the magazine, and boom, I got the biggest picture in the magazine.
Yeah, okay, that's Blue Hour Photography. If you want to follow that as well on Instagram, you can.
Talk heavy on that. We can't undervalue that.
Well, listen. So everybody has their things, and as an independent contractor, and you're working for yourself, you have different businesses and multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get into photography because I was interested in it, and also I want to get great at it by capturing moments in my life and my children's lives, and so that's something that I thought was very interesting.
Absolutely.
Got into it, and there are some moments that I've shared with people that are absolutely wonderful. Like, I have a set of friends right now that are, I've basically celebrated their 10th anniversary. Right now we're celebrating a baby to come, and soon when the baby gets here, we'll be taking pictures of them.
Absolutely. Nice.
Too. So that's exciting. So anyway, again, that's Blue Hour Photography. Follow me.
And beautiful family too, by the way. Whenever you take pictures of your own family. Got the kiddos, got the hubby.
Listen, I got them too. Those
warm
two babies.
feelings. Yeah.
Listen, I don't know what I was thinking having 2 under 2, but we're progressing.
So, off subject here, your favorite home cooked meal or favorite restaurant? Because I know you're on the go a lot. You wear a lot of different hats, and you're a jack of all trades. So you stay on the go. So you love your restaurants too, right?
Yes,
but I'm sure you love your home cooked meals as well.
Yes,
because I said that kimchi.
Yes, it is. It is. I know. Listen, I love doing that. I threw down and had some fried rice like at 11 p.m. Don't do that. It's not good for your health to cook at 11 p.m. I know that. I went to the gym the next day. Okay, but
I digress.
But I will actually say my favorite meal to make is the salmon dish with bow tie pasta, and you have caramelized onions, and you have this cream sauce that's made with horseradish and clam sauce. It is fire. And when you come over and throw down with it, that is probably my favorite meal to make.
That sounds like that is smacking. I don't want to miss out on that.
It is. I'm visualizing. I might be salivating in my mouth right now, but it's fine. Let's move on. Yeah.
So, Brittany, let's get to business. What's the most enjoyable element of playing the big role in placing residents into that nice new cozy home or property that's so suitable for them? Is there a warm satisfaction?
Yeah, and it really is. It's like, there's a lot of reasons why people are diving into real estate. And I will say it's not just placing homes or just moving into a home. It might be moving out of a home. Right. And there are just different reasons. Like one lady that contacted me that wanted to purchase. She wanted her home in the country. She had been living the city life, and she wanted her family to grow up in the country. And I mean, we searched far and wide, and she was someone who was not here to look at her houses. So I did a lot of FaceTimes with her, and I was like, listen, I am dead honest. I will tell you everything I see, and I will also tell you what I smell, because that's very important in real estate as well.
Absolutely.
So we found a perfect home in Columbia. And her and her husband were there, and he made the drive from Columbia, Kentucky, to Fort Knox every day.
That's a stretch.
That is a stretch.
Columbia south, right? Going towards Campbellsville. It's like
over, yeah. So an hour and 20, he was driving, an hour and 30, I think, to his address. And that was wild to me, but they were committed because it was a beautiful home. And she wanted to purchase that specific home so that she could also have room for her father, who at the time he had dementia. And I think that was something that she's processing, him coming with her because nobody else would take care of him. And this was her time as a daughter to take care of him. And so that was that. And that was like a few years back.
That's big for them.
But just last year she contacted me and he had passed. So this home now, she wanted to sell, and they were moving to North Carolina because her husband got a promotion, which was great. And
nice.
I think the world of those two, and it was a lot just sitting down with them and realizing like why we purchased this property and me looking at the home that they turned it into. And then now they were leaving it. And, there were a lot of memories that she left there,
Yes.
obviously, the last memories of her father. And there's just so many different things. That's
that
just
sounds
one.
great.
But that's just one story
Yes.
that you have when you're working and you actually care about your clients and what they've been through and where we're going. And
Right.
and like I said, why do people buy houses? Okay, let's think about it. Okay. You've got someone who's maybe just a single individual that wants to build their own wealth, and they're excited and they're like, hey, I'm approved and I want to get started, because maybe they came from nothing and they know that they have to have something that's theirs, and you can't
Right.
replace land.
No.
So they are getting into that.
It's
A married couple,
it's
maybe.
pulling on the heartstrings.
Exactly. A married couple, they
Right.
might be purchasing a house because they're living together and they're moving together and have a wedding. I've had a couple of those, and those are amazing because it's cute. There's just a beginning, and so you're celebrating that with them.
Oh yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
excited about that portion. I mean, there's been several of those.
So you've seen people just after they landed, they jumping with joy, holding each other's hands, and just.
I literally actually closed
sparkling
one.
moment, right?
We closed on Friday, and we worked very hard with my lending team. Shout out to Ryan Wheeler on that one. We really
Shout out
had
to
to
him.
work hard
Shout out to Ryan.
to close on a Friday, which it just seemed like it was not going to happen between the seller, between the buyer, and it did, because the lender pulled it all together, and they closed that Friday evening, and I literally think we closed at 5. And they got married Saturday morning. So it was
making it happen,
yes,
right?
it
Going
did,
beyond,
it did.
taking
And
the
that
desperate
was,
measures.
It was great. It was great. Listen,
I love how you're going above and beyond for these people.
but
And
see, that's one, right? They get married,
right.
but then also, you have some that aren't so fun because they get divorced, and you have to deal with that. I had a couple that I sold them the house when they were newlyweds, and then also sold their house when they were not.
So you've seen the flip side of both.
Yeah, that one's a little bit more of a tricky one, because
Right.
here's what it is. I always love to do group text because I don't want to be like, oh, she only talks to you or she only talks to me. I always love to do group text so we are all on the same page.
Rolling
And
call, right? This is a
everybody-
team.
Yes, we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, but it is hard when you are dealing with negotiations, or, hey, let's do this to make your house a little bit more, I guess, pleasing to the buyer market, or we're just trying to make negotiations for things to do to make sure that the buyer wants to go through with it. And I always make sure, hey, do the right thing. If there's something that needs to be done, do it. And for the most part, I've had great sellers.
It helps because you're naturally a genuine person anyway. So
Yeah.
it's not like you have to reach extra to do that.
There's only one case that I had where the husband and wife were on non-speaking terms, and that was hard because
Challenging?
because then you're just
that
going in
sounds
between it, and you're
yeah.
having the same conversation with both of them, and you're trying to make sure that they're both agreeable. But that's my job, to take the emotions out of it.
Absolutely.
And to be like, okay, listen, and it could be whoever, Linda, or whoever.
Play the mediator, right?
Yeah, you're a mediator in a sense, because you've got to make sure that cooler heads prevail, and you don't lose a deal over nothing. And so that's basically been the experience. There's so many different things.
So this is the work, and these are the elements that a lot of people don't see. Right?
That's true. I think a lot of them, and I'm not going to say, listen, here, I am not here to say that every real estate agent is the best thing that you've ever had since, sliced cheese.
Sliced bread.
Sliced bread. Okay. I like sliced cheese.
Yeah.
Okay, but
What about banana nut
but
bread?
it is sliced. You're right.
But
I will say, I mean, I have seen
Okay.
in Louisville, I was showing a house in the Highlands, and
Nice market area.
I love the Highlands.
Yeah. Nice area.
If you want to go bar hop. But so they, I had a realtor that showed up, and she showed up a little early, and I said, hey, why don't you just go ahead and go in? My clients were running late. And so I was kind of there during her, it was raining outside, so that's why I didn't want to stay outside, because it was my showing time anyway. So I was inside, just in the front, and I'll tell you what I heard while her clients walked through. I heard not a peep. She sat there, and in fact, she came over to talk to me about me. And I was like, okay, first of all,
Let me turn this thing around on you.
you are showing a home to those two in there who have no idea what they're looking at. They have no idea what the plumbing they're looking at. They have no idea what they're looking at in that crawl space.
Mhm.
And you're not helping them.
Right.
And you're just letting them walk around. She's like, yeah, I've been in it for 20 years. And, I don't know. Does that mean that you just, for 20 years, you've been sitting here and not helping your clients actually look at the property?
Right.
I don't know. But, for me, if I don't see it, it's a little weird for me. Like, you have to, I think you have to be a part of it. You have to look at it. You have to know it. And I don't think that there's a house that you could point out to me that I've seen that I won't remember things about. And it's really weird. But the great agents are like that. I called a friend the other day and I asked her about a house. I said, hey, what's the deal about this house? Because, it was on the market for like 80 days. And I know you've seen it. I was supposed to see it. My clients declined because they saw the backyard. But I said, I know you've seen it. And she goes, yeah. You know what? That's the one with da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. She had a list. And it's because they pay attention, they care. And you really do. I'm not saying, they're rare. There are a lot of great agents out there, but there are ones that aren't. So, I mean, that's what
some aren't as good as paying attention to detail as you are. And like I said earlier, you're willing to be clear about the details.
That's true. I'm okay with them not purchasing. It's not a big deal to me. Like, there are some people that, and it is your livelihood. It is your business, but I never want my client to purchase a bad product.
I mean, just think about selling somebody a vehicle and then boom.
Yeah.
Week down the road.
But there are people
that
will do
it,
right?
Just goes,
there are people be like, hey, sign that dotted line right there.
Right.
It's all good. We just rotated them tires, and then you get they didn't know nothing about the car, and they drive it. And these guys are bald. You rotated what?
Yeah.
So I can't do that. I can't.
So that does exist, So that says a lot about your character, and you put a lot of value into your career. You put a lot of nurturing and a lot of care into other people. That's clear as day.
I like the nurturing. I think but that's my vibe, right? Yeah. I think that is like the teacher and me, probably. Like, I just don't want someone to make the mistake. If I wouldn't do it, if I wouldn't purchase it, then clearly I don't want someone else to.
So talk heavy on this. That's beautiful. So chicken wings, drums or flats?
Flats all day long.
Hey.
Yes.
She's part of the flat squad.
When you see the bones for my flats, you're like, oh, well, okay.
So give me those flats. Dip them in that. What sauce you like to dip in them?
Oh, I love buffalo.
Oh, that buffalo.
These people play around with these, honey, Parmesan.
She said, give me that buffalo sauce.
Can't do it. I have buffalo, thank you, spicy, and yes. That's that half Asian. That's that half Asian. That Korean. Listen, the Koreans play games. They try to make you eat. And I think it is a game because my mom makes the spiciest stuff sometimes and just looks at me while I'm eating it. Is it good?
Right. Watch it. Burn
you gonna cry? Off. Are you gonna cry? Exactly. It's like
bloodshot eyes just going
this
crazy.
Is great.
Hey, that Korean food hits different, because she's getting that real Korean together. You got the false really Korean.
Got to get that pepper.
Official.
Yeah, no commercialized.
No. None
of that Korean hot pot stores they keep throwing up. Okay, anyway.
You see it.
Look, if you see a Korean store, a Korean restaurant, and it looks like a hole in the wall, that's the one you go to. You don't go to the one that looks like everybody has the same uniforms and blah, blah, blah.
That is a golden rule of the restaurants. Those hole in the wall places, those joints.
Yes, that's what hits hard.
Yes. Nice. So let's get to business. How has the recent economical pressures altered the trajectory of the housing market as of recent?
Here's the point that everybody is going to have a reason to live somewhere, right? Or to purchase or to buy or to move, whether it be a job, whether it be a family thing, whether it be we don't have enough space, whether it be we have too much space, there's always going to be a reason. And I say, nationally, everybody knows that the market, and if they don't want to admit it, that's fine. But it is slower than it was, especially in 2021, 2022, and even you saw it trickle down in 2023. But I will say the rates dropping a little bit has gotten people to dabble a little bit more. And here's the thing, in Hardin County, I would say Hardin County is not at all hit the way, and it's unique because it's a growing place. And it's just like in 2008 when everything was crashing.
That's a good point. It's
stuff was still moving here.
Yeah, it's nowhere near like how California has been affected in other areas.
Well, and for the most part, it's still moving. If you need to sell your house, it will get sold, especially if you do what you need to do and you're getting the guidance that you need. I will say that in this area, it is, I am, Well, just as a person, not a real estate agent, just as someone who exists and loves the community in Hardin County, it is sad that there are rent prices that are pricing people out. Like I had a friend who obviously got a divorce and had to move out of her house because she did not want to be in that house anymore. And it was just her and her little boy, and she was like, "I'm just going to rent for a while." And I said, "Okay, like if that's what she feels like is best for her, you say okay."
Whatever situation suits you. Yeah.
But also, she signed a contract, she signed her lease that she was paying $1,800 or $1,700 a month for a 2-bed, 2-bath, and she was like, "What am I doing?" That's a lot of money.
She woke up and smelled the coffee. Like,
yeah,
what am I doing?
And I think it's just hard because when you do that, I mean, yes. Okay, you don't have to take care of making sure that everything works, but at the end of the day, it's always going to be best to invest in yourself.
Right.
When you rent, you're investing in someone else. And there's people out there that are like, not everybody can buy. And listen, I am there with you. Like, not everybody's coming from money. Not everybody's coming from, oh, my parents had this company, or, like my parents have this loan that they could give me, or no, like, I get that. Like, growing up, my parents were, my dad was in the military, and my mom obviously came over from Korea. But I'm not going to say like growing up we had mad money. That wasn't it at all. So like everything,
you've put the work in.
Yeah, it was a lot of hard work. But I'm still, at the end of the day, I know that the struggle is there. Yeah. But like everybody has to start somewhere. And I think it's like if you get guidance on how to start, like what do I need to do today that in a year or in 2 years I can, if I put the work in, I could purchase a home for myself, whatever it may be.
If you notice, she said, put the work in though first.
Yeah, it's hard.
You have to be willing to do that first. Because some people, they see the glamour and the glitz. They see people living in nice homes, but there are steps.
There are things that I discovered, and it's not just as a real estate agent, but as just for a person buying and selling a home, because I think that's important that you, if you're someone's agent, that you have been through the process and you understand the process. I think the biggest thing is that the advantage of, and most people will tell you this, if you don't have kids and it's just you have so many different options of what you can do to make money off of real estate. So let's say you're like, I need to purchase, and you have like, you could personally purchase it, but it's not within comfortable means. Rent out a room. You purchase a house yourself and you rent out a room and have a roommate. Now, is that hard sometimes? Yes, but sometimes you do have a friend that it would be you and somebody from your high school and like, hey, rent from me and we'll sign this lease and we'll get going. And you're investing in yourself and you're getting your own rent, your own income happening to help you pay for your property. And eventually the equity that you have in that house, you could either A, use your person's rent to fix up that place. And in 2 years, you sell that house, and when you sell that house, you make all the profit and pay Uncle Sam nothing because that was your primary residence. And you buy another house to do the same thing with. And I think I was amazed. The first time that I did this with my house, I was amazed because I was like, I can't believe, are you saying that I pay no taxes? I will not pay you a dime from this house that I purchased for $211,000 and I sold for $342,000?
Right.
But that's the game.
Amazing. And now you're in the game. Once you take those steps, and perfect really, explanation.
Yeah, it is that you invest in your property and you can do that. And that's one way. That's just one way that you can start off as yourself to build your own wealth. Or maybe you keep that property and you want to start renting it out and you take the equity to purchase another one that you move into. That's what people are not telling you, and that other people. And this is where that generational wealth comes in. Like if your parents knew about it and they told you, that's great. But there are a lot of people out there that maybe your parents didn't know that.
There's absolutely a lot of people that haven't been informed of that.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of ways. But I just will say that real estate is the biggest way that anybody can invest in themselves to give themselves a future or build wealth. It really is. Like, aside from obviously your job, but
it sounds like a strong independent avenue and a possible option.
Different way, right?
Right.
I mean, you'll have your portfolio. You can also invest in the markets if you wanted to. But
Yes.
real estate is something that obviously it's tangible money right now. Like, so yes, I can have this house and I have equity in this house. Should I need money, then I can be able to pull from the house, but you shouldn't do that. But if you needed it, you could. Or if you needed to sell that house, you could. Or it could be a constant moneymaker for you if you could. And like I said, it's, for personal reasons right now, I'm on hold because I'm trying to figure out what happens for me in 2025. And it's always, what's around the corner.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But, that is the best thing. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to buy rental properties and that's how you want to build your wealth? You have that on the side. There's just so many different options.
It's the beauty of having options, right?
Yeah.
And it's good to have people like you. And that's why I love to bring people like you onto the platform, because that was a perfect explanation, an example of what you could do independently within the market of this. And it was very informative. And people can use this information.
I hope so.
Yes.
I mean,
So
that's
thank
literally
you.
like, the advantage sometimes when you look at people and you're like, oh my God, well, her mom and dad did this, or his mom and dad did this, and now he owns this or whatever. Like, forget about that. What you want to do is build something for yourself. And if you can, the first way is just to invest in something you need anyway, a roof over your head.
Yes.
Like, even if you buy something that is a fixer-upper, if you yourself are a doer, then you just move into something that's livable. Now, don't buy something that's all moldy. Like, don't do that.
It's going to be a lot of work.
But if it's something that, it has wallpaper all over the place and it looks like it's from the 1970s.
Fixer-upper.
Well, you know what? It's better than paying somebody else's bill and paying them $2,500 to stay in their house. I mean, it's just hard. But, like some people, I see it all the time on Facebook when people are renting and they're like, if someone purchases a house with today's mortgages, a $2,700 rent for a 3-bed, 2-bath with a basement, not unreasonable. But to someone else who hasn't seen that mortgage and done all of that, they're like, oh, they're gouging it. But it is what it is right now.
Let me ask you this. Do you see a lot of places being what you would call gentrified?
Well, that would be more of the Louisville scale.
Economically,
I would say,
and financially.
Here in Hardin County, no, I don't think that there's any kind of agenda for that. But I will say that there are, in some places in Louisville, it is obvious that is happening. Like, you're looking at like far West End and you're looking at certain streets and they are buying people out and they're flipping those houses and they look fantastic.
And it's naturally just kind of how the market is working, right? Financially.
For me, it does change the community, and I don't think that's fair either. Pricing people out of their homes, and how do you fix that? I think there's a lot of things with, helping people figure out how to build their wealth to do the things they need to and to keep up with their home. And that's the biggest thing is like people can't keep up with their homes. Like the money is a problem. Inflation is a problem.
I believe you hit it on the nail though, as far as these possible outlooks and these possible options that people can just take within themselves and independentally build a value within themselves.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's hard. But, some of the stuff that I did at the fixings on myself, I couldn't find a tile person. And so it was me and my friend doing the tile, taking down the fireplace and tiling it. And we did that. I did that. And, I helped my friend's mom do it because I was sometimes hands and feet, right? Hands dirty. But
are you willing? Some people, you have to be willing. You have to be willing to sacrifice.
There are some people that are uncomfortable with doing that stuff. And I get that, maybe you have the luxury of paying for your apartment and it is nice. There are some people that they love the apartment amenities and they love just renting.
You're right.
That's okay. And that's okay. But again,
less responsibility.
If there's somebody that's out there you're thinking about the future, you're thinking about 20 years from now. Like when I think about my little babies, Fitz and Theo, when I think of them,
shout out to Fitz and Theo.
I want them to be able to inherit things from me that will make their lives better and that will make their families' lives better. So, you just have to put it in perspective.
It's a preference, right?
Yeah.
Nice. So, do you sleep well or do you balance out this busy schedule at all?
Okay, anybody
you're
that
doing
knows
a lot
me,
of different things.
Anybody that knows me knows I don't sleep, Josh. Like
I know this.
But you know what?
That was a
It's
funny
not a
question.
baby thing. It's just a like, because some people are like, oh my God, when you have a baby, you'll have no sleep. Trick is on everybody else because I never slept in the first place. So
They say inspirational people, and they don't really sleep a lot. Creative people,
because there's always work to do, and
there's always something that you're gonna miss something.
Well, yeah, there's literally like once I was like listen, Apple, you are the real one for coming up with scheduled text, because sometimes things do pop up. And I'm like, it'll be like, 1 a.m. and I'm like, wait a second, we've got to and now I'm like, schedule text.
Yeah. One reason why I asked is because, to my understanding, there's potential clients that can call you at any time. It's very random and spontaneous. Can you elaborate, based off your experiences?
Hold on.
With that?
I'm gonna put my missed calls up here for you, buddy.
Oh Lord.
This is like my missed call log, because it's wild.
Call logs
sometimes.
Looking crazy.
And look at how many of those numbers are not saved, right? It's
wild, they're all in the red. For you Apple babies,
the red.
Yeah,
the red. So it's you get random calls, you do. And
Absolutely.
Sometimes, just today before I came over here, like I got this random call, a family member of a former client from a few years ago, and they're like, I want to get ready to buy. And we were just actually having this conversation. And, when credit score comes up, things get really awkward. Some people do feel uncomfortable.
Touchy subject.
Okay, yes. They're like, about that credit score, what do you think? And I'm like, well, what are you at? And it was just kind of quiet. And I said, here's what I need you to understand.
It's always a gray area, right?
Well, and I said, here's what I need you to understand. I need you to know, first off, before you say your credit score, that I am on your side. Like me, I'm on your team.
I want you to win.
Yeah, I don't want you to not become a homeowner. Right. So that information, whatever it is, you don't need to be embarrassed about, because I understand that sometimes people are wild. My first credit card that I opened up when I was 18 was literally because I went into Old Navy and I knew the person that was working there, like, oh my God, if you open up a card, I get this like promotion because I'm so close. So can you open up a card, please? And I was like, okay, whatever. What is this? And I mean, then for some reason, as a college student with no ability to pay them back because I didn't have a job, they were like, oh, here's this $5,000 credit limit. I was like, huh? What? All right. Well, cha-ching. Let me go get these shoes, and I don't know. I'll pay for them later. But everybody has those lives. Not everybody is perfect. That's the biggest thing. Is like, I think people are afraid.
She's very understandable.
Yeah, I think people are afraid. Like they're like, oh my God, I don't have a 720 and blah blah blah. I mean, I had a friend that he really concentrated, and he just actually texted me earlier because I was asking. I was like, what was your rate from your mortgage? And it was high. And he was like, a lot of good that 840 credit score did me. Don't worry about your credit score as a point of like, it'll never happen. Don't let that bog you down. Like you can get it done. You can definitely I needed to do something and move money around, and like literally within a couple of months, it was a jump from like 70 points. So you can do what you need to by concentrating on it. So don't feel like there is something ahead of you, like, oh my God, well, I have a 550 and it'll never happen for me. It can. Yeah. It can if you just sit down and figure out, okay, well, how can I make this happen?
Yeah.
And you also want to sit down with a lender.
And just take the proper steps. Like I said, day by day, you'll get it. In a few months, that makes a major difference in your credit.
Yeah, a few months. Yeah. 6 months is like you said. It can be
three to six. Up. 3 to 6.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I like that. So listen to this woman. Do you have any personal goals as a real estate agent?
Okay, this is where some people hate me. It is true.
Okay.
Because there's some people. This is what I'll tell you. There are some people that are like, I want to send 10 mil. I want to sell 10 mil this year, or I want to sell 5 mil, or I want to blah, blah, blah. I let me sound like I'm an alcoholic anonymous, okay? I'm an AA. I take it day by day. Okay. It's not for me, who am I helping? What am I doing? What do you need?
Right.
And that's where I am right now. Now, when Theo can go to daycare and I feel like it's safer.
And this is down the line now.
And when I say down the line, maybe a year. I will I will choose to do what I want to do with my business. But I like the way that I do it right now because there's, like I said, I think when you get that way, if you're so focused on your individual goals that sometimes you bypass the experiences with the clients that you have. And I just don't want to do that ever.
Man, that's a professional answer. I love it.
Yes. You know, like if you're concentrating on your final number, then how are you actually
kind of like a football team, right?
Or you're just like helping this person. That's what it is.
Kind of like a basketball team, right? I scored 60 points, but did my team win?
Right. Maybe if not. I only care about, and I'm not saying it's not important to have goals. It is important to have goals. I'm just saying, me personally, the way that my brain works, like, it's day by day, and right now I'm happy doing what I'm doing, helping the people that need help. Like,
and I see the joy in you helping people too. I see it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
it is very cool. It is extremely cool watching people cross the finish line and having their own house, and maybe your water heater breaks, but
then you get to take that nice picture
step by step.
That nice picture of them closing out or closing in, and
it's great. It is great. It's cool.
So tell the people a big funny moment during the process of
a funny moment.
Yeah, can you give us one?
Funny, haha, or like me grabbing my pearls. Like, did that just happen? Okay, you know what? There's a lot of cool things, but I will tell you. The biggest shocker.
I like shocking. I like that.
Okay, let's go with that one. So, when you are closing on a home, and I hate that it was a deal that, it's probably I only have one deal, one that I think about, and I think I'm almost at 100 closings. I got to think about it because I was at 80. I know. I think next year, hoping for it by myself, which is nice when you're trying to be a mom and be a full-time mommy and also do that. Yes. So there's only one that I think about because it went south because it was basically a seller that discovered that she didn't want to sell. And the reason that she didn't want to sell was that she figured out that she should have done what I told her to do in our first initial meeting. Ooh. So I had a seller that she wanted to build a house. And she was like, well, I'm going to sell this house and we're going to rent a house and then we're going to build. And I said, well, but why are you doing that? Because you could stay in your home and you could pull the equity out of your home because you have plenty of equity. Yeah. So you could pull the equity out of your home and you could start your construction that way. Mm-hmm. And once your home is finished and ready to close on that one, you could move into that house.
And then double back.
Right. Because the house payment that you're making right now on this home, which was a beautiful home, the house payment you're making around this one, it's not anything that it would be without, some of the percentage, but either way, neither here nor there. She told me, absolutely not. And I said,
not or absolutely not. She didn't even consider.
She said, absolutely not. And I was like, she said, I already talked to a lender and I already went through the options and this is what I want to do. And I said, all right, let's move forward. Because if you tell me you want to sell your house, I'm going to sell your house.
Whatever.
So we sell our house, we get it under contract, and during the time where it was kind of like a domino effect.
This is getting funny.
It is funny. It was like a domino effect where someone had to sell their house, and then they purchased her house, and she was going to close this and then close something else. Yeah. So it was just she was getting hot and heavy, waiting for this and getting upset, and then at some point she says, if it doesn't close on this date, I'm not closing. I don't want to do it anymore. Well, I was like, there's a little thing that you have to have written in your contract is. Time is of the essence, and that was not in there because this was not something that she wanted in the first place. So anyway, we get to the point and she turns into I hate to say it, but it's almost like a Karen. And well, if they're going to do that, then I'm going to call my lawyer.
Her name was Karen?
No, but she gave me the Karen actions. So, she was just like, if they're going to do that, if they think they're going to still buy my house, and
here's the thing. Contract. Here's the deal. Here's the drill. You're a professional.
Yeah.
She didn't want to take your advice. She didn't even consider your advice.
No.
That's the shocking part.
Well, it's just like, right. I don't think, I was like, I explained exactly what it was because I think about that meeting and I know exactly what day it was. And in my head right now, I can see myself in her living room. And I explained it as best I could, because I was explaining you can take the equity out of your house. You have plenty of equity in this house.
Maybe she lacked confidence.
Well, either way, let's hear. So she called that lawyer, and then she realized that lawyer was, he charges $300 an hour.
The attorney, yeah.
Yeah, and then she really flipped the lid and called me. Is like, if he calls you, you give him short answers and you hang up. And I was like, he's still doing if you look at a lawyer bill, if you've ever seen a lawyer bill, they don't care. They will 0.25 an hour.
They will go on vacation
0.3
on you.
No, they literally, that minute that you talk, they're like 0.1 of an hour exactly. So they don't. They're going to get their money. But she just realized at the end, you got to sell your house because you said that you were going to sell your house. So
that was a huge
either way,
learning experience.
Okay, but we're not even to the point, Josh. We're not even to that moment.
So that's not even.
This is not even the big thing. You're not ready for this. So then, when you get to the closing table, they ask you to fill out papers. At a title company, they will ask you to sign these papers that say that this is true. You knew that this, or you paid your HOA, or you blah 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 blah. And then they ask you this question: have you pulled any money out from your house, or have anything attached to this house since it's been under contract?
Equity,
that equity that we just talked about.
Right.
And obviously the answer should be no. I haven't pulled out any equity in the last 35 to 45 days. And it is that the same. She's like, you mean like a second mortgage? And the lady was like, yes. And she said, well, we pulled out $100,000.
100.
So I'm sitting across, and
that's a knee slapper for sure.
I mean,
the amount.
My eyes. We're just talking about how Tim Walz got caught up in that lie. My eyes.
Yeah. Wow.
I know they popped out of my head.
Astonishing.
So I was
flabbergasted.
$100,000.
Right.
You pulled something out, and first of all, you did what I told you to do. So I was like, "Oh my God!" Because here you have to understand.
She froze in the hot seat.
When the title company needs to pay something out, it takes days sometimes to get your payout.
Right.
And sometimes, if it's an old school company, they say that they'll snail mail you. They say we have to mail it to the person who has pulled the So I'm like, what is about to happen here? So we call them, and it's frantic. And listen. Well, I mean, like hitting the pavement running. I was like, I need the name of whoever you pulled the second mortgage from. And I mean, I went to the other room. I went with the title company. We were like, let's call some people. And they're like, I explained to them the situation. And 2 hours later, they do send us a fax. Okay. They agree to do it.
Okay, so
and
come to an agreement.
Get to close on that home. But I will tell you, that was the hardest time to smile and say congratulations. But I mean, I am happy for them that happened in their life, that they sold the house that they wanted to sell and they went about their business. I'm not even going to tell you the update because I'll tell you the update off air. But the big thing with that one, it was rough as all get out. And I think lesson learned for me is that, I'm going to make sure in that situation that I have someone sign that I told them. So that's literally a paper I can say, I told you so. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day. That was a big I told you so. At the end of the day, I think she, and I didn't even mention there was a husband, but he was just along for the ride because I think he was just like, what is happening? But
so yeah, it was a galvanizing moment.
She just decided that she didn't want to sell in the middle and try to get out. And it was really sad, but the craziness at the table, that was wild. I have never, that was the only time that has ever happened to me. That is the only time that there was, there was another hiccup where, the moving company might have taken a big old dump in the bathroom and didn't tell anybody that it overflowed and got on the floor. But other than that,
nice.
Listen, I've got real estate stories for days, and most great
all kind of stuff.
Yes,
right?
Most great
real estate. A tree fell on a little shed or something.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff. There's some funny ones.
Listen.
Take us to your world. I love it. that sounds crazy.
It's crazy.
100,000.
100,000.
Not only did she make the mistake, she went into specifics of the numbers.
I can't even. If you saw the closing attorney, her face. I mean, she was like, "Come again?" Because nobody ever says yes to that question. Because the first thing you say is like, "Well, when I told you, like with your buyer, you're always like." because if you ever get a house under contract, don't go do anything crazy, like go buy a new car as well or open up a credit card. That is a huge no.
Yeah,
But the seller side, you don't just go out and like put your house up for a wager, like, hey, I need to get this thing, so let me put this up for collateral. This house that I'm not going to own.
Man, listen to this person and listen to professionals when it's time to, So cappuccino or coffee?
Would you believe it that I don't run on any of it? I
do believe that.
Yeah, I don't.
And what's crazy, you talking about you don't get any sleep with no cat or cough.
I wake up like this.
Yeah. I woke up this way.
Like nice. It literally is. Like I have a nice coffee pot just for fun sometimes when I want to feel fancy and have that Keurig make me some tea.
Oh, in those houses, we get coffee. We're ready. We're ready with the coffee early.
Hey, Lou. Yes.
If cappuccino is accessible, then I'll roll with that. But usually, coffee every day.
I've got friends that are serious about their cappuccinos. Like they got serious cappuccino machines.
Different types. Yeah, I love it.
They are serious. I will tell you that I am guilty of not knowing the difference between anything.
Let's tap into this because recently I've seen rumors of the NAR lawsuit nationally. I seen something about that in the media, I think, the other day. It may have been on Google or something like that. Could you elaborate a little bit on that, or maybe your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, in short, I will tell you in short. Like every realtor right now, the experienced ones are like, this is just getting stuff on paper. The other ones who may be new to the industry that just jumped in, like they may be freaking out just a little bit. But I will say that I have seen some changes, but it's with buyers who are not informed. And I feel so bad about it because it's fear mongering with the news outlets. Right. Like they're like, oh, the realtors are doing this and this and this. It literally isn't. Like there's just a group of people from Missouri that sued the NAR, which is the National Association of Realtors, and a couple of realtor companies. And they said, oh, well, they have a fixed price. Like they're fixing it and saying that sellers have to pay this much. Yeah. And that's never, ever been the case. It's always been negotiable. There's sometimes when I've seen listings when I started this in 2019, I pull it up and you will see someone is only offering, and what it is a cooperating, commission, which means if you bring a buyer, we will pay the commission of this, and so that's where the gray lines were, where they well, if you're giving them and telling them how much they're earning, then, they're only going to show these houses. Well, I got news for you. Most people who are searching for houses can see them on Zillow. So if my client ever showed me a house, I don't, most of the time, I don't even know what I'm getting paid until the end because my client showed me the house. And I was like, let's go see it.
There's websites, there's platforms that people see the full display of these homes.
Right. This is not selling sunset where people are like, oh my God, this is a 3% listing and I go, this is not that. Like nobody's ever thinking that. We're just rolling on and, again, I say everybody has access to Zillow and Realtor. Now, there are other things that you deep dive into as a realtor that you can see that most people can't see, and you can help your client see because you've seen so many houses. What's normal? What's not normal? Because, again, if you've never bought a house before, how are you out there shopping for them and knowing, is this a good buy for me? But again, you don't know what you don't know. Like when I first purchased my house, I didn't know anything about it. And to be real, the agent helped me and she went through the process, but it was kind of minimal.
I like the last home you sold. Nice.
Yeah, but
nice
don't break my heart.
Back.
But you don't know what you don't know. And so there are people now, because they're afraid, they're like, oh, well, it says that the sellers are no longer paying for their agents and buyers have to pay for their own agents. And you can't afford that because right now, buyers who are usually using an FHA loan, which is like your first time home buyer's loan.
Please break it down for me.
They're bringing already 3%. Okay. So if they're bringing 3% to the table, they're having to bring that, or 3.5 sometimes,
3.5
as their down payment.
Wow.
They're bringing that as their down payment, and that's a lot of money. So, let's say. Yes. And there's a range. Sometimes if you have good credit score, you can put 5. But let's say you're buying a $200,000 house, right? And your down payment, let's say your down payment is they're telling you that you have to have $6,000 or up front, and you also have closing costs and different things like that. That's usually another 3%.
Right.
On top
all
of that,
the additives.
right? No, it really is. It's a lot because that's what you're saving up for as a first time home buyer. So you have the $7,000 on top of $6,000. So you're talking about $13,000 here.
Especially
that you have to have.
If there's credit discrepancies, the down payment may be even more.
Well, and some people try to buy some points down. It's different things. But just off the bat, let's just think, you have to have your 3.5% and your closing costs are somewhere around 3%. Okay. So if you're having a $200,000 house, maybe you're talking about $13,000. Sometimes, you can get help with that from first-time home buyers assistance, and it depends on when you apply for your loan and you're going through your local banks.
Okay. Yeah.
But let's just say you have to save that much up. That's a lot. $13,000.
A ton.
That is a lot.
To come out of pocket?
Yeah. You have to bring that to the table.
No loans?
So on top of that, sometimes you have to pay for your representation. Well, when you have a lawyer, you have to pay for your lawyer, and they usually do by per hour, right? So you have someone working with you who is a professional, who's helping you find houses, who's going through. There is someone I know, a couple in my head right now, and I did not collect a dime from them, but I did show them 30 houses. And they didn't end up buying. And that's okay for me because it wasn't right for them. Like none of those homes were right for them.
And you went above and beyond trying to point out these things.
Someone else would always tell me like, oh my God, you showed them like once we got to like over 10, like I don't think I would have showed them anymore. I would have fired them. And I was like, that's not the point. Like I will continue to show them houses and they are actively looking. And I don't think that they were being malicious about it. They genuinely were searching for a home and then find one. But the thing I'm saying here is these people think that now they have to pay for their own realtor where sellers are usually paying that other 3% or that 2.5% or even 2% sometimes. So coming up with an additional $6,000, that's a lot of money to save.
Yes, off the rip,
but that's not what's happening right now. It's sellers are still continuing, but they're being more aware of what they're paying for because there are shady people out there, and there's some people that list homes that weren't splitting it evenly. So they were taking they were putting a sign in the yard, taking cell phone pictures of houses, which if you were taking cell phone pictures of homes that are listed in the 400,000s or even 3 or even 2.7, that's hard for me.
That sounds greasy and grimy. Yeah.
Well, it's just they don't want to.
Part of the game.
You got to market your house. The moment that your agent pulls out their cell phone and you've got a really nice house,
right?
That's not the best for you because the house. Those are the photos that get pulled onto Zillow. Those are the photos that get out there to all the people and there are random people who move in from other places. They don't want to be in the big city anymore, and they're like, "Let me move to a small place," and maybe it is Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
Very often. People want to leave the city and come to rural areas. So
you've got to make sure you market yourself well. But at the end of the day, the seller does not want to lose business, but they do want to be aware of what they're paying for. So if their agent, though, was taking pictures with their phone, putting their sign in the yard, not really doing anything outside of that, not contacting other agents and seeing how things went, and hosting open houses, they're not doing that. Some of those agents have been, like maybe taking 4% and only giving the buyer's agent 2%. And the buyer's agent just showed 30 houses to this one client, and then come out and they get shorted. That happens all the time. And that's the biggest thing I think that all of this was putting forth is that you are now seeing it all on the table as a client. You are seeing that this is how much your realtor is getting paid. Which is fair, and it legitimizes the business. And it also makes the seller aware of what they are paying for. If you're a seller out there and you're like, I don't want to pay for anybody's agent, that is your choice. That is your choice. And it's always been your choice. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But
the information is there. And
if you don't do it, then you kind of close out all those buyers that can't pay for their own house, or pay for their own realtor. I mean, and that's you never want to close the door on who could buy your house. You want to leave it open. You want it to be open to everybody. So that's NAR right now is just only scary to those who probably weren't as open about what is happening with their commissions. But the other thing is, it also is just like some homeowners that were upset that they felt like people were steering people away from their house. And it's not steering in the sense of, don't buy this property because of the race or anything of that, because that's a technical term for real
Mhm.
estate. But just they were saying that people would avoid their properties because of what they were giving.
So
It's just absolutely not.
The terminology they're
Yeah,
using to
you
implement.
just
Yeah.
nobody was steering away from your house. But again, they will if you advertise that you're not helping them, because buyers, there are buyers now out there that think that they can't have their representation, and I think that is horrible, because when you purchase a house and you don't know what you're looking at, you could purchase something, it could be a money pit. That movie Money Pit is real, but you need someone to walk through with you and the process and your loan process and make sure you're following everything you need to do and help you understand your inspections and make sure that you're requesting the things that truly need to get done or you need to walk on a property.
And she's the person for you. You need someone genuine and resilient.
That's so nice. But if you don't use me and you have somebody else, that's what you need to require of them. Like, what are we doing here? Like, when's the next spot?
If she's not there,
they're doing that for you.
Take this information and run with it.
Yeah, you need somebody that is helping you do that. There's people that, and there are always going to be, and I've run into plenty.
There's good folks out there.
You know, I've showed my listing to someone, and you're allowed to do that as an agent. You're allowed right now under the NAR thing. You're allowed to show your listing to someone who calls you and says, you know, like, I don't want to have my own representation. Well, understand that my sellers have representation. And so my duty is I'm going to do business with you, yes, but my job is to represent my clients and make sure that they are taken care of.
Yes.
And you are at a disadvantage. Like, yes, you want the house, but the question is, what are you losing out on that's not getting negotiated, that could get negotiated if you knew what you could throw in there? And you just don't know sometimes.
You don't. So I appreciate you. Thank you for being very informative, because everybody doesn't know the proper details, the ins and outs. Mm-hmm. You're letting people even aware of, manipulation tactics and false information. And everyone's not going to inform the way you're doing it right now. So I want to big ups to that. Thank you very much. And there's a lot of information that you're filling me in.
It is.
I don't know about these things. Break it down for me. You know what I mean? So this is nice. So, off subject, do you enjoy musical movies or non-musical movies?
Ooh, that's hard because I have a musical background.
Right.
I do enjoy musical movies.
It said that new Joker movie was a musical.
Oh, is it?
That's what I'm hearing.
Well, I mean, I will be
Which
there.
Is a shocker,
and it looks like there's some fun. I saw some of the actors and actresses that are going to be on there, so it actually looks fun. I actually already bought my tickets for Wicked. When that comes out. Okay, listen, you got to go see it because it's Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, and they are about to tear it up.
Talk heavy.
I'm so excited about it.
Which one you think is sing better, Ariana Grande or Gwen Stefani?
Are you being funny? You being funny, right? Boy, Ariana Grande all day, every day. Yes, Ariana she's fired. Listen, if she would sit down and stop doing this child's play, okay? Because she's still in her life. Like, I'm a teenager. She's in that phase of her life. I need her to move into, I want to be the diva of the century. Right, I need her to move into that. I need her to move into that part of her life.
Her last album was nice.
I mean, she's got some, listen.
I know what you mean.
She's on my workout playlist. I run to some of her hits, okay? I will. It makes me great. But I want to hear her have her own love song like, you don't love me. I'm going to need her to just go ahead and tear it up.
Tear it down, right? Bring her soul out,
that's
right?
what I need. I need her to do that for me.
Nice.
She is fantastic. And I think if she gets the right manager who says, okay, we're going to go into your real diva era, and I will be happy with that.
The grown-up aspect.
Yeah.
So how often do you go golfing? You go to Top Golf?
I went golfing today, bro.
Today.
Before I came
I went today. I got the bags and
I had the baby out there, bro. I had the baby out there. Hold on. You know
cart?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, listen, I'm wild. I'll just go ahead. He comes out with me on the course. I'm going to show you right now. That's him hanging out on the golf.
That was a setup question, by the way.
Look at him, he's knocked.
Look at him.
But I take him up to the green and I just go crawl down, buddy.
Yeah. He ready to grab the iron.
I need listen, one of them is going to be on the PGA Tour, retiring me later. Listen to that, Fitz and Theo later in life. Yeah.
Fitz and Theo. That sounds like a company already, don't it?
I don't know what they're going to get into. I know.
Chili or gumbo?
Gumbo. I like the spice of my life.
Carolina coming out of you right there. Nice.
North
You put shrimp in the gumbo?
Yes. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the onions with the vegetables. So, are you more comfortable playing the clarinet or the trumpet?
Clarinet's my main gig. Well, I started on piano, but in band world, clarinet is my main thing. But I can turn up some trumpet. It's fun. I love it. I love loud noises. Really, my kids didn't know what instrument I played until later. It was always a game because I played trumpet because it's loud.
Yeah. So
it was always a game of, can y'all play louder than me? Can all 40 of y'all play louder than me?
And exuberance. Does it seem like those kids love music? They like music?
They did. I mean, listen.
Someone
just posted on Facebook, and it was really funny because they saw the beginner books that we used, and they said, I just had some memories unlocked by this picture. Yeah. And I said, turn to exercise 61, and that's really where it started. And they're like, oh, that really is.
And their head banging.
Yeah.
So this is a funny, a petty question. Nashville or New Orleans, which city do you feel has the bigger impact on music culture?
Ooh, well, it depends on what type of music, right? You've got these cities.
Whatever reason.
If I'm going to say what I personally enjoy, I'm going to go with New Orleans because you're talking about jazz. You're talking about jazz. You got that clarinet in there, and it's just a whole different feel. Like
they have like these events where people just marching down the street.
Yeah. It's great, isn't it? Yeah, it's got so much historical value. It's so great. Like, and that's why you should support your music in your schools because it has so much historical meaning. But also, music brings life to events. Like, what is a football game without a band?
Yes,
boring. Okay,
what's a Kroger without music playing while you're shopping?
Really awkward. Everybody hearing all the stuff dropping.
Right.
Everybody hearing my child yell at me that he wants more Cheetos. Okay. I turn that music up.
Which is that's a solid point. That music is very universal, and a lot of historic information that kids can learn from. Music stuff like that.
Look at old Pharrell now.
Nolans.
He throws it back. He used to be a little third base in the marching
band. Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh my god.
Except for real. Yeah, he was. So, house hunters or hoarders?
Listen, I love house hunters. Hoarders is
house hunters?
That's just the dark side of your brain. It's just like
hoarders.
They got those boxes in there. Did you see that thing crawl out of there? Where's she using the bathroom? It's terrible.
I've seen some wild things.
It's like a train wreck.
Yeah. It's so mentally disturbing.
It is
to watch. But we still watch it sometimes. We're like,
well, that's why it's on TV. It's got viewers.
Yeah.
It's got views. That's why they keep making their money.
Those houses, oh man, I don't even think about that. So documentaries or Hulu Netflix series?
Okay, but hasn't Netflix really become like a documentary? Yeah. Have you watched the Menendez brothers?
Not that one yet, but I'm saying
Free them. I'm going to say that right now. Free them.
You watched the Menendez one?
Lyle and listen, I knew the facts, and I knew, well, when I say facts, I knew the general facts.
I seen the OJ one.
It's good.
That's what. Cuba Gooding Jr.
If it doesn't fit, okay. Anyway,
we watched that. Yeah,
I will say that reenactment that Netflix created, it really, especially if you watch episode 5, it really puts it in perspective. Because right now, if it was a woman and she killed her attacker, and like she said she was being abused and this and this and that, and like she would not be spending 30 years in jail. Okay, and case in point, Gypsy Rose. But I mean, with them. I'm not saying that they, not all people that are abused end up being murderers, and murdering and being a vigilante is not okay. But at the same time, if you understand the motivation for a crime, and I think, and here's the thing, everybody called them liars, but at the end of the day, what ended up happening is someone came out last year and said that their dad did molest them.
Ooh, is that what happened?
Yeah, somebody came out.
I got to tap in. I haven't seen it.
That's the new piece of evidence that has driven them to bring back to the table, like,
So is this one is broke down in the series too?
Hey, listen. Ooh, you know what?
Episode?
I should have said spoiler alert. So hopefully Josh spoiler alert. Don't watch this portion unless you. But episode 5 is really what I watched, and I felt it here that I was like,
she spilled the beans.
I just felt like they deserve to be in jail, but I don't think that they deserve to be there for 30 years and still in there with life without parole.
Yeah, it sounds like a deep story.
It is. Thanks, Netflix.
So, The Voice or American Idol?
Voice.
Talk
I
heavy.
love that.
iPhone or Android? I know who you're rocking with.
Yeah, don't even play. Whenever it turns up green, I have like a new chat, and it turns up green. I'm like, who's responsible for this? Who did this to me?
The green text.
And I'm not gonna lie. If you look at my text right now for like some of my clients, like, and I'll text them because I told you I text both of them, and something will turn green, and I go, who is responsible for these green bubbles?
Who is contaminating my text? Green text. So, Team iPhone, smart person. Let's get the business. So, you said you miss teaching and band directing sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Which one?
I mean, but I get my fillers because I do work with other programs. I mean, just last week.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
A couple middle schools.
Yeah.
I go in, I help out, and it's fun, and I get my enjoyment there. And the great thing is, like, I'm like a grandma. Like, I'm not the day in, day out actually have to make sure that they know their information, because I think when that responsibility was there, I was like, I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to make sure. I think, to me, it was educational fraud if I didn't, like, make sure they knew their stuff, like make sure they could play their instrument, because some of those kids ended up using that to pay for some of their college and not to become professional.
Absolutely.
I never wanted them to become, like, if they want to do that and that's their dream, great. But I never wanted them to be that. I wanted them to have another avenue or stream of money to go to college if they wanted to do so. And some of the kids did use that.
And they used some of your tools.
Used $4,000 or whatever they were getting a semester just to get them through school, and they played their clarinet and they went to band and they got their lesson, but they also were getting their degree in marketing. And so that's what I wanted. Yeah. Like, they have some advantages, because this life is all about figuring out how to get a leg up, because 100%. Some people, there are other people that are already ahead because of generational wealth or different things.
Absolutely.
So that's what I wanted to gift them. Like, just have at least another avenue. I had a friend that she was a great softball player. She was like up for Miss Softball. She didn't actually win. A girl from Greene County did. Why do I remember that? Oh, Bowling Green. A girl from Bowling Green won. Mm-hmm. And why do I remember? I don't know. But she was great at softball. Fantastic pitcher. She was also a phenomenal oboe player. And so when it came to deciding to go to college, she decided on where she wanted to go. She was getting a full ride with both of these things. Yeah. And I think she enjoyed her experience. She ended up picking softball. And we were roommates, and it was really funny.
Fantastic.
Because she would be coming in from her 2-a-days, and I would be, knocked out from my one a day of going to my class, getting to come back. But it was a totally different experience, but I just wanted to give those kids options.
Like, and a chance. Options. Yeah. I love it.
I got a kid at U Chicago right now, and she's playing trumpet. But she also ended up joining the, like you do ROTC, and they'll pay as well. She didn't do ROTC while she was here at North, but she ended up doing it at college, and it was great because at the end of the day, she paid for everything.
Amazing.
So that's all I want. It's just like,
they ever come in contact with you still? Some of these kids?
Oh yeah, they do. And it's like one of those awkward things, like where when you get older, some of the, like you just don't want to be that hovering, like crazy old teachers. You just like some of them, like you let them go and have their comfortable space.
But they love you.
Some of them, if it's in the past, it's in the past. It's cool. But there's some that do reach out and they're like, hey, let's go to lunch. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great, because I always want to see all of them do well.
Making a positive impact on their life.
Yeah.
Long term.
Like I said, there's ups and downs from teaching. There's ups and downs for real estate. But the best parts of both are just like getting to be a part of someone's life and helping them in some way.
Yes, that's beautiful. And they took some of the tools and the compassion and, turned in and using everyday life. Yeah. Nice. So as a community growing rapidly due to new industrial, companies, military, et cetera, in what condition do you see the market within the next 5 to 7 years?
It's going to keep going up around here. it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, in Hardin County, you're just going to see the value of your home going up as long as you take care of it. Because there's some people that I roll by. I went and buy a really nice neighborhood in Roneyville, and there are I'm talking about like there are homes in there they're selling for $425, $450, different things, and then there's just someone just not taking care of their house, and I'm like, that you're losing money.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Especially in an area like that, that's an area where a lot of people, like you said, in the city that would dream of moving in that area.
Yeah. And it's just,
Right?
just take care of your stuff. But it's a great place to be. I think this area is a great place to be. It's a great community that's growing. I know there are some anti-growers, and what I mean by that is there are people that are very upset about the things that are coming to E-Town and feel like it's turning into quote unquote mini Louisville. And my big thing is that E-Town is becoming the potential that it should be. And I think if smart, they would, the school boards really need to tap into it too, because these schools and the way that things are, the support they get, it's not nearly enough.
It's growing, but it's not Louisville.
Well,
you know what I mean? But I've heard that.
It's not Louisville. No, it's definitely
but
not.
we feel
we have
the growth.
No portion of our entire county that I would say I walk through, and it feels like when you drive through 44th Street or whatever, 22nd. No.
Downtown.
Yeah, that's no.
Two different areas.
Literally once you get past like 8th Street, yeah. All right.
This is different, right?
7th, actually for me.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put you in the scenario. Major home, $10 million, $20 castle up for grabs, right? You're scheduled to meet up with a potential client of interest for a light lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you meet the client? What attire do you wear?
So first of all, if you're talking about $10 million,
break it down.
You talking about we're in Louisville or we're in Lexington?
Let's say Lexington Versailles area.
If we're there, there's plenty of cute little lunch brunch places to go that are high end. Like my personal place that I really like to go. Because earlier you asked me about food and my meal to make.
I'm all about some food.
But listen, the best restaurant, period, I don't care what no one says, is Jeff Ruby's. Okay, that man.
Jeff Ruby's?
He did it up. You want to take your girl on a nice date, you got a Jeff Ruby's in Nashville, Louisville, Cincinnati, or Lexington. Fabulous. But honestly, you can eat there and be cute. There's Tony's. That's cute. Frank and Dino's. That's actually a really cute, Italian place so you can eat. But there's just so many different
True
options.
Italian, right?
Yes.
Francadino's.
Exactly. Francadino, I know, right?
Francadino. Tap in.
Good stuff.
Nice.
But meeting there. And
casual?
yes, of course, when you say casual,
casual setting.
High heels.
Yes.
And
high heel attire.
There's some fabulous dresses. Listen, I looked at them. Actually, I need to probably buy more color dresses because in music land, black clothes is it because you have concert black. So I have I literally all my dresses. I have so many black dresses. So I've been working on getting more color into my life and pink. And as you see, I'm trying to work in some.
She stays proper.
Soft color palette.
She stays professional. top shelf, top of the line. And those places, I'm just thinking about those restaurants. I might want to tap in. Yeah. So, do you have any upcoming events?
As of right now, no, but I'm doing a little pie event, and most people are for their. I'm grateful for you as my client gift.
Nice.
So those are some of the things that I'm doing. I'm really just wind down. I'm a wind downer. Like there's some people that are pedal to the metal. And like I said, there's just two ways to live your life. Like if you have to meet that, I want to hit that $10 million line or that $20 million close line. I get it. And that's a hustle. But for me, I'm just like enjoying the colors of the leaves, you know, like changing and
breathing.
And I'm on this earth and there's so many things I'm thankful for. I think there's a lot of people that don't really understand, like, you know, a weird thing about me is that I had been to 17 funerals by the time I was 28.
So it's time to live life, right?
Well, that's it. It's like I just there's an appreciation for I want to live life. I'm going to appreciate the people around me. I'm going to enjoy what we have here, and that's it.
Big. That's
because
big.
It's day by day.
That's big. As fast as things move, it's always good to find time for that.
Yeah, I'm like planning out, hanging out. I'm like, I know people have their Halloween stuff out, but I'm like, I'm chomping at the bit to put my Christmas stuff up. Okay,
Right.
I am. It's so inappropriate. I don't care. I really want to put it up tomorrow.
But I like what you said though about those refresh days. Those
Yeah,
these
you
reboots
gotta.
that reboot. Kind of relax.
Mhm.
Don't take that day for granted. We have those days. We have those days. We shut off and we relax.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, do you have any more contact information that you
Oh,
want
I
to give
mean,
out?
just you can follow me on Instagram, and my personal Instagram is bford1030. Okay, that is actually the one that I am very good about uploading my children and different things, but also business. And you can follow me on there, and we'll be able to keep up with anything that I do.
Yes.
And of course, you'll have contact information from that page to be able to contact me should you want to purchase a home or sell a home, or just interested in how to get started with the whole thing and want to sit down and have some popcorn and chat about it. I think that's the biggest thing, is just having someone to bounce ideas off of and figure out, like, where do I get started?
Yes. She's very transparent. She's very open to discussion. She's very open to helping you reach your goals, whatever it is. Very informative. So don't hesitate. And you know who to talk to. You know who to call on. Get in where you fit in. Look, hey, for that home, that home situation, you better believe she's the one.
Well, it's been fun. It's been great. So I hope, if you follow me, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. And if you have any questions, of course, call me.
I appreciate you. Hey, thank you for coming.
Great.
Brittany Froedge. Hey, make sure you contact her. Let's get the business.
Yo, let's get the